All right.
Welcome to Rantech Radio. My name is Incognis.
I am Atkinson.
And today we're going to do a full, in-depth, comprehensive review of Assassin's Creed Unity, post-patch, 3 out of 4. And today we basically decided to give the game a chance to, have a little time to recoup. And, because it had a really rocky start and just tons of crashes, tons of issues, tons of weird visual anomalies, performance issues of unstable, super fluctuating frame rates, and just all kinds of mess. It was so bad that Ubisoft actually had to make a blog regarding we screwed up, here's how we're going to do to fix it. And they also ended up making, apology letters to majority of the customers out there regarding of the issue. And if you bought the season pass, they decided to give you out a free game, as a token of courtesy, for the troubles and the hassles. And November's been a rough month. I'm going to admit that. Okay, and it's just been where issue after issue after issue.
Gosh darn it!
Titles.
It just got down.
Okay, now, here's some things we like about Assassin's Creed. The animations are wonderful. The crowds
Very.
are massive. The graphics are pretty good when there isn't pop-ins and, multi-layered texture effects that, seem to just spawn, at different tiering, different nonsensical, views. Basically, 175 yards away, the graphics quality will take a tremendous dip within still visible range. It's like your character's nearsighted, and he can't see beyond a certain point. Which, to make a joke about that, we have Eagle Vision, which apparently no longer is all-encompassing, but is radius-based. And then that actually requires gear to improve the ability of that. So we have RPG character customization here, where you can basically put on different different kinds of clothes and everything like that. And let's see here, I'll give an example. Okay, so here's what the outfit would look like. And each one of these pieces of gear offers some sort of contribution to melee, health, stealth, range, speed, attack, and all that kind of stuff like that. And they offer little stats. Now, Atkinson, what do you think about the RPGification?
I honestly think it's ridiculous to do because it's strange. You have things like, I get it to some degree. It's like, okay, so you're wearing full plate and all that stuff. That's fine. So suddenly your assassin's wearing nothing but plate armor. Maybe, okay? But even still, it's like, it's just, and the way it's done, it's just absolute padding. It's like, it's one of those things where I start buying out the cafes, do a bunch of missions. I get this surplus of gold that's like 3,000 or 9,000. And then I literally just go take a nap and just wait for myself to have a full chest and buy my stuff, so that way I can just do missions without, being stopped by a gear limit.
Okay, well, they also, I like the fact that it adds, visuals and everything like that, and gives you kind of a thing to go by looks-wise. But, the RPGification, it's nice, and it's also kind of one of those things which is kind of why at the same time, So, and I'm not going to bitch about it, because I like anything that basically adds to the game and gives me something a little different. So if I want to give myself and intentionally, remove all of, the best gear and lower it, I have the option to do that. And, if I want to be able to, customize my look so I don't look like everybody else, I like that too. I'm not going to argue. That's kind of nice. Now, I don't really care for the color swatches because basically you're tied to whatever palette, Ubisoft has given you. And while it's nice to be able to change your color, you had to collect 100 cockades to get this. You had to do all the Nostradamus riddles. You had to do the 100 cockades to get this, and this was something else, but it was kind of dumb. You had to basically buy it.
It's just a lot of the good stuff you just have to unlock.
Yeah. And there we go. So, then there's weapons and everything like that. I do like the fact that there's quite a few different weapon types. Okay, like what was it? Gear loadout, weapons. Okay, we got one-handed weapons, which are swords, maces.
You got your one-handed, you've got your long spears, you've got your rifles, you got your handguns, and it's a nice variety and all. But then swords a sword,
You know, and if you wanted to be a range class, you can actually sit there and use guns, but you'll still use the gun as a melee weapon, a good chunk of the time, because they don't give you a crap ton of bullets.
If this game really did have classes, I can only think of like 3 classes. Thusly, the guy who's your strong arm, someone who's stealthing, and your sort of pseudo sniper, maybe.
That's exactly what you got. I mean, you can make a balance between the 3, but it's basically a tri-tier, setup between gear setup, weapon setup, and all that. And let's see, go back and change this. Now, some other things I got to gripe about is we have it where there's a microtransaction store in there, and
it's just absolutely abysmally just questionable. Why would they do that, really? It makes no sense. Well, okay, it's not like I cannot see where it comes from, money and all that stuff, and the lazy want to do it. But why would you buy a $60 game just to pay what, another 10 or 20
or
to just beat it, or maybe even $99? Why? So it's just a weird cash grab that shouldn't have existed in the first place. They're already technically making money off of DLC. They're now trying to be Candy Crush or something. Thank God it's not Candy Crush. And let's just not even get on to the tablet ordeal. Let's really not. That in itself is stupid, though.
No.
The app.
There are some things that they tacked onto the game, known as the Assassin's Creed Unity companion app, which I covered in one of my Let's Play streams. And
I just told you not to!
It's a thing, and I'm not going to cover it too much, but it's basically a gimmick app that isn't really fun to play, and you basically use it as a,
What's it got? It's got a map in it,
It's got the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood style. You send out a bunch of, non-tangible, assassins to go take out, targets and do submissions that are on a timer. And once that timer is complete, you have a chance of unlocking a chest in the actual map of the actual game, Assassin's Creed Unity. So basically, use the app in order to unlock chests that may, give items may give currency,
God.
or may unlock a couple, extra outfits.
I'm already fearing for Metal Gear Solid 5 now that I think about it. I mean, when you describe the app to me, it does sound like the same thing Metal Gear Solid 5's got for it, but that app's right now kind of in its own little alpha or beta right now.
And I'm sure Hideo will add a twist on it, to make it more entertaining. I mean, this is basically generic, Windows App Store kind of app,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's essentially what it is. I mean, the mini-map, I don't mind. It's a thing. I'm using it right now. I'm barely paying attention to it because I don't, I don't do that kind of stuff a whole lot. Okay, I mean, mini-maps are not something to look at a whole lot. I like to just explore, find my way around, and kick the snot out of stuff. That's what I do. Okay, now, see here, there's a chest called an Initiates chest. Now, the Initiates thing, I'll tell you what that is. The Initiates thing is basically the challenges. You know how most games have these little challenges, like kill somebody this with this kind of weapon, do somebody this, do somebody that. That basically unlocks and levels your character up on a pseudo-tiering, system. And that allows you to unlock them to the chest. It basically gives you a goal of, something extra to do, and they're basically just extra unlockable rewards for just going around and just being an overall badass and, completing all the little mini objectives. Okay, I'll let that one slide. I kind of like that one because, instead of just having, you've done this, and this, they actually give you an incentive of, oh, hey, you did all this. Now that you did enough of those, you can go and unlock these chests and, get some extra goodies. That's cool with me. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's one reason I actually let you play slide on a lot of shit, because they reward you, for actually playing your games, and you can turn around and buy crap, to unlock in the game, too. Which is, that's one thing I like. I mean, I always thought, like, Xbox Live and everything like that, all those stupid gamer score points that they give you instead of just bragging rights, they should allow you to either buy damn video games, downloadable content, or whatever with them,
Right.
And that's one thing Uplay did get right, but apparently some things that Uplay got wrong is now, just the very existence of Uplay causes Skyrim to freak out, and I don't understand that mechanic, how that's tied in.
The belief is that like the mouse is still tied to like either Uplay or the games or something, so it takes a restart of the computer just to kick Uplay out of the mem or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's either like the last time it was the first time it was ever really brought up was that Watch Dogs was doing it to certain games, and then Unity is also doing it. So the conclusion is that it has to be Uplay or something in those games.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about the problems this game has. The problems this game has is it still has some bugs. It still has performance issues where, you know, while they stabilized the frame rate with the last patch, it's stabilized, but it isn't improved. You know, you're not getting any performance improvements. And I
My
really
RAM's
got
still
this.
being eaten up like crazy. Not simply my RAM, but my video RAM actually.
Okay, I have a GTX 770 in here, 4 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of system RAM, an Intel 4790K processor, and you know I also got a secondary GTX 772 gig, which I'm in the process of changing out with another 4 gig, which I'm using right now to offload any physics or anything like that. And the game is basically rolling around 39 frames a second, you know, with my recording tool on right now. Okay, and it's not a very demanding recording tool. Okay, and some other things I have a problem with is that the game had crashing issues until very recently, where they'd crash it back as much as breathe on his mouse while using the controller.
Worst case scenarios, I would take all the RAM and
Yeah.
like literally playing this game was a gamble to me. Beating the game, oh god, those blue screens just I would just sit there and I'd be like, how could you do this to me? How?
How could this happen to me?
Then to me?
We made some mistakes. Okay, anyhow,
We're digging a hole and it's
Now-
not so deep.
Now, I'm not one of those guys who tries to bash on Ubisoft, but I'll tell you what, I will ride the piss out of any game company who makes games I like, and they intentionally screw it up or don't polish their games good enough. And Ubisoft is terrible at that.
Are you cowering away from
This
my friendly
game,
intervention?
it's like this company is already in boiling piss water right now. Or even before this, just by all the statements they were making. The biggest statement they were already making was that 30 frames per second ordeal, and so it's like they already have like a bad public view, and so someone's looking at this game. Someone looked at this game and said, it's still a good idea to release this game. Someone said, this is a good idea. We're not gonna go to hell if we continue on this path.
And, you know, the other things is content. Let's talk about content real quick. This is your content. You got, what was it, 16 to 18 submissions, you know, to play co-op, or you can play them single player. You got crap tons of chests, which would be white chests, which are already unlocked, red chests, which require lockpicking skill in 3 different tiers, which is an utter bullshit minigame. You've got the blue chests, which are unlocked only by using the app and actually doing these little, you know, side missions using your intangible, you know, rogues on, you know, a cheesy app. You have your Initiate's yellow chests, which are unlocked by doing challenges and stuff like that. Cool, I'm okay with that one. You have cockades, which are these little ribbon things that you collect 100 of in order to unlock an extra color option in your outfit, which is basically the dark gray, or as they like to call it, black, of the game. You have Nostradamus riddles, which all you solve them, you get an Assassin's Creed, you know, Altair / you know, Ezio Auditore combination outfit, which I'll give you a sense of that here in just a second. Let me show this guy. There we go. And let's go ahead and show that. Character customization, gear loadout, equipment. There we go. Outfits. This is your reward from doing all the crazy, complicated Nostradamus riddles, which you'll probably just end up Googling and following up a bunch of video guides of where to find everything.
I do not know why I did this. I put the anti-aliasing at 4.
Oh, great. Your game will chug. Okay, let's talk about that too. Performance issues. Low texture, high texture, ultra texture, doesn't matter. Low environment quality to ultra environment quality, doesn't matter. You will not see any frame rate difference at Oh.
Texture at low, texture at high, texture at ultra high. Your VRAM is still being used up to the max for some reason.
Yeah, and it doesn't affect your performance. So what is the point of, you know, having multi-tier, display differences? I'll tell you what it is. The only function it serves at all isn't for you to use. It's actually there because of texture distance pop-in, where basically the further you are away, over 175 yards, you'll basically start seeing, you know, texture differences and quality drops, and every consecutive 50 yards afterwards. Okay, and you know it's gotten better, but there's still some areas of the city where it drops off. Like see that roof over there in the background? That's just a completely flat sheet. There's nothing there. There's no real detail or definition. And you can actually
we're talking here.
Yeah, this roof right here you can actually see. We go from detailed to semi-detailed to less detailed to even less detailed to flat sheet to literally a flat beige texture that literally has almost no definition whatsoever. Okay, that's a big issue in the game. What was it? Anti-aliasing tanks this game like a truck. Like, it's ridiculous. What was it? Storyline in this game? I'm just going to go ahead and go right onto that because I'm trying to keep on time constraints here. We're already at 16 minutes. Storyline here, the game is not going to deliver any mind-blowing story compared to the previous predecessors, okay?
What are you talking about? The Citizen Kane of video games. It's so predictable.
It is terribly predictable. And while I love the character development, it doesn't really have enough time to shine before they finally end up, you know, pissing on it, you know, in the ending of the game. And as a result, you know, which you've grown comfortable with, it almost feels like it almost kind of feels like they tried to do like the Final Fantasy VII, you know, era of the scene, you know.
And they failed at that.
Yeah, they did. Terribly.
I don't even feel anything for the particular character at all, except for why did that have to happen?
Why did that have to happen? It was superfluous death that didn't have to happen because somebody who's normally the voice of reason became the stubborn bullheaded person who decided to, you know, overestimate their own abilities and, you know, jump right into the fray while you were just moments away from helping them and basically shaft and lifters and help this character who couldn't do anything. Okay, now, there is a sense of progression in the game because you go from getting your ass kicked by every
I just thought about
single-
something. There's a difference between being strong and independent and dead.
Yeah, right? Or what was it? Good DPS rogues don't die.
Good DPS rogues do not die, yes.
No, I like the combat system in some aspects, but there are times where it can be just absolutely overwhelming. I mean, even with some guys, you know, where you're just facing one because they can dodge and parry everything, practically, and you literally have to time your attacks, and it becomes a game of skill, and next thing you know, there's a whole, you know, mosh pit of guys, you know, crowding up on you and doing the same thing.
And this game is not like the older games, where in the older games, it was kind of this whole, they take their turns to attack you like they're scared or something. Everyone's attacking you. Everyone and their mom and their dog and their cells and their children's cells and batter or whatever. It's all attacking you all at once, man. Yeah. Guns blazing, now, swords in your face, lances in your chest.
Let's talk about that real quick. The AI is better in that sense, not tremendously, but enough to annoy the shit out of you. And that is everybody and anybody who and their mom has a gun in this game. Like everybody.
They will take the opportunity to shoot you if they can.
And they will back the hell out of your line of sight so you can't see them when they take that shot. So you have to watch out for a bright neon red reticles light up just a split second before you get shot in the back while you're fighting like 4 or 5 other guys.
I usually just sit there and I make sure to just juggle between who I'm smacking with a sword.
Yeah. That's about what you can do. Or use smoke bombs or anything like that. Now, there's some lure mechanics I really detest in this game. Cherry bombs is something they tried to like plug as, you know, your way to lure. But the bullshit thing is how the guys are lured to cherry bombs is instead of throwing a bomb where you want them to be, you have to throw the bomb 10 feet away and hope that they go far enough in that direction. And the radius of how far they detect that cherry bomb is actually kind of questionable. So when you're trying to lure them into your cover, like say like I took this right here, Josh, show them where they'd have to throw that cherry bomb.
Is there a
Is there a guard nearby?
Okay.
No.
Let me be hypothetical. So if I
Here, I'll give you a guy real quick, okay? This guy right here. See that guy over there?
all
We'll
right.
pretend he's a guard. Show them ideally what you would have to do.
Well, if I were to throw a cherry bomb right now, I'd be throwing the cherry bomb about like.
That's too far away. So you
I
gotta throw
don't-
two cherry bombs. One cherry bomb to lure him to one point, and then you gotta relay to another point. There you go.
I'd
First
we'd
cherry
be
bomb,
doing that,
and then you come
and then
over
if he-
there.
and if he came over here, I would then want to throw it like behind the cart or something.
Yep, that's right. In order to get him to walk by it. That's how you'd have to use the cherry bombs. No joke. That's literally the annoying mechanic. You can't toss a cherry bomb right here in front of
I
the
can't.
cart.
I cannot. These people popped in.
Because that threw money. I threw money, they're like, shit, profit. And they stole the money I just gave them. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Okay,
That is
pop-in is a
hilarious.
terrible problem in the game. It's becoming more noticeable each time we do this re-recording. We've done this recording 4 times now because apparently Assassin's Creed is cursed. 5 times, yes, we've recorded 5 times now. And this game is freaking cursed because every time we've recorded this, something bad has happened. And it just seems issue after issue after issue. It's not crashing our video recording or whatever. It's just something just happens. We've never had recording issues previously. Okay? So that's where it blows my mind. Is
Let me think here. Let me try to summarize some thoughts I have. RPG no good.
replay value, not really there.
Not really there. The stealth, the addition of stealth, it's very hit or miss. I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan myself, so thinking about stealth in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't do the best of jobs to really expand upon its stealth. What's that? Are you stuck?
I am stuck.
I saw you go in there. How?
I tried to climb up the wall and I got stuck.
Wow.
Poison
What do we
bomb!
do?
I can't poison myself. Can you shoot me? No, you can't.
That's a good question. Can I shoot you? Wait. Oh, you can't poison yourself?
Ah, there we go.
Oh, sorry.
I got it by unsheathing my weapon. Figured that one out. Okay, so.
But yeah, the stealth. It's like.
The stealth is very basic and kind of rudimentary. I mean, if you're looking for top-notch Splinter Cell quality or Metal Gear Solid level stealth, you're not gonna find it here.
I think that's the absolute issue, is that this game, there's some things that just really weren't thought out. It's like they were still thinking of it as an Assassin's Creed game and not on the tight level design of something like Metal Gear Solid. There are so many levels in Metal Gear Solid where it's absolutely just planned out and thought out where guards should be and the whatnot. Missions, levels, and the whatnot should have been planned out for stealth. And some guy's gonna go in and ruin it all by going in with a machine gun sword or a bunch of
Machine gun
rifles.
sword. I gotta draw one of those now.
Then so be it. So be it. He can do that, but at least plan everything out in some way, shape, or form. There are some nice instances in certain missions where, like in some of the co-op missions, it does seem as though if it's done very well with at least 4 people, you could pull off the whole entire heist and without anyone dying. That's another thing. It's just that I want to be able to ghost things. If I'm gonna assassinate a dude, I want to just assassinate him without assassinating anybody else. There is that one mission with where you're killing the King of Rats, whatever his name is, French name. No, the other guy.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, the King of
And it's
Rats.
like the King of Rats is like he is standing up in the top of the circular room, alright? In order to get to him, you have to parkour up. I have no clue if there's any alternate way, but the most obvious way to get to him is this parkour around. He's just standing on this ledge, waiting for you to just pounce and jump on him. And he can also essentially see you as well while you're, like, running around. He's just waiting for you once he sees you just to fight you.
Now, while we're on the subject of weird mechanics, stuff like that, Let's go ahead and move to what was our favorite assassination mission in this entire game. And you know what? I think you and I can agree unanimously the best mission in this entire game is basically where they do...
One.
Yeah, the Latouche. Because here's the deal. The guy is standing in the middle of a gigantic crowd surrounded by guards, and what you can do is you can use the crowds as cover, take out all the snipers around all the buildings, and, you know, then there's a food cart, you know, that you can unveil, you know, to get a bunch of, you know, angry citizens riled up, you know, and investigating, and the guards come over, like, what the heck's going on? You distract them, pick off a couple guards, then you a little bit, then you can go over and blend with the prisoners. And once you blend in with the prisoners, they let you out to come in to be executed, and you get close enough to Latouche, and he's like, wait a minute, oh shit, you're this, and you kill him. And that is the best. I mean...
It's terrific. It's so... I mean, on one hand, in my mind, it's like... It's one of those things you had to do and it's an objective, but on the other hand, it was such a nice option for you to do. It was a nice little option.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. I also like that, you know, the sense of surprise where the guy's like, oh wait, holy shit, that's you. You know, that just kind of made it feel like, oh, that's a proper assassin where they're not even aware you're coming, you know. That's how an assassin's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be like, oh, well, beware, there's going to be an assassin coming. Okay, well, because everywhere you go, oh, beware, there's an assassin coming. And, you know, you basically have to Metal Gear your way through. Why can't there be a couple times where there's nobody suspecting you at all? You know, I want you to be like the Spanish Inquisition. You know, nobody suspects you, you know, showing up. You're just there. Okay, now, it's there, it's not there. Okay? And, you know, if you play an Assassin's Creed game, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay? Wow. Just blind me, will you? I feel like I just leveled up because you blew up my eyes. Right when I picked the chest. Okay, now, as far as world objectives, they have a bunch of these repetitive things where you can kill random, you know, guys starting fights, a couple muggers,
tackle a guy and spoon him.
What was it? A couple people being executed, you know, in public, you know, like lined up on their knees, and you can save them. Beggars, you know, which need money, and what was it? Oh yeah, thieves. Those are your world objectives. I was kind of hoping we could, you know, rally up some, you know, angry mobs and, you know, go against some, you know, corrupt, you know, political figure or aristocrat, you know, and just stir the shit pot a bit. I mean, you got so many people in this game, just ridiculous amounts, and this is a kind of a thinned out area now that I think about it.
Very thinned out.
There we go. Here's some people.
What's all the fuss?
Now all these people are doing something. They're all rallying against what? The statue here? Okay.
I don't know.
This guy right here. This guy right here. Okay, you can't kill all these civilians using poison bombs and all that. You can't pick fights anymore. You can't whistle people to your cover. What was it? You have to invest skill points into basic mundane, you know, skills, like, you know, oh, here we go, being able to blend in with random people, you know, and just take a seat and just kind of mind your own business. Okay, blending in, like, basically keep it cool. Okay, you have to invest several different skill points in order to get double air assassination and double assassination. They could have been consolidated into one skill. This is horseshit right here. This is a waste of skill points padding. Okay, lock picking, I don't care for it. I mean, literally, it has eaten, like, so many skill points for, what, just so I can satisfy my OCD and open up all the chests that are laying around? What was it? You need a skill, apparently, to be able to throw money. That's a skill.
It's so fancy. There's a certain flick of the wrist that you can only get from an Italian man.
Oh, good lord. And then pretending to pick up your own damn money again. Okay. There we go.
In the chest.
Take it from behind and the chest. Now,
I swear though, this game, and it's really such a sour taste it generally leaves in your mouth at the end of the day, you know?
Now, this game is essentially a sandbox, you know, but it's such an empty sandbox. It's like somebody took out most of the sand and filled it with loose pebbles.
You know,
Okay.
that's all Assassin's Creed games. All of them are pretty much just Well, you've got this big city now. What do you do with the big city? Well, there's collectibles and maybe some side missions.
Let's break it down. What all is there in Assassin's Creed Unity to offer? We have Scooby-Doo style, solve some missions, accuse some people, get some basic general gear, which will quickly be outdated and will not ever replace anything useful to you. Then you have, what was it? The Nostradamus riddles, which are, find the glyph, use your eagle vision, find the other glyph, use a very cryptic, riddle to find another thing. You have...
Cryptic metaphor.
Yeah, cryptic metaphor. You have the multiplayer missions, which can be played single player as well, and there's about 16 to 18 of them. And if you get sick and tired of playing those over and over again, even with random players, then you're going to get tired of multiplayer very damn quick. You have the collect the clubhouses social clubs, which once you get it, it really contributes nothing to the game whatsoever, except for a place you can just duck in real quick, have a vendor, and then you're done. There's tons of little chests to collect, white ones which are unlocked, red ones which require lock-picking skills of various levels, and which can be anywhere between tedious and frustrating. Then there's the blue chest, which can only be unlocked using the ridiculous app that they have.
30 minutes.
Yep, I know. Then we got the initiate chest, which can be unlocked by doing the, by doing the challenges. Then you have the main clubhouse, the cafe theater, which is basically your money generating spot. By dumping in money, you get money. Okay, it's your investment. You have collect the treasure artifacts, which I'm not sure what they all do yet. I don't really care at this point.
I think they just unlock something at that point. I think everything is just unlocked. Something is collectibles. You collect it and unlock something. But then when you're at the end of the game, it's like, what's the use of unlocking things, really?
Then you have basically a loosely made guild, which you'll see the rankings and everything like that. There's multiple tiers.
What?
Basically ranks and everything like that?
No, I mean, like, get out of your screen.
Okay, what do you mean? What? Oh yeah, you can also share the blend abilities and everything like that.
Oh, I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah. You can share the disguise ability.
I'm like, what? What'd I do? Oh yeah, that's right.
So we can basically just walk around and be all low profile. Okay, yeah, you can blend in, which I think is kind of cool. So we can, choose a random person and then choose what we want to blend in as. And nobody suspects a bloody thing. Even though we're like...
Hello, miss. Hello, I'm Arno.
Okay, what was it? The guild thing doesn't really have a whole lot right now, aside from having a bunch of friends invited, and you have a collective status, that comes with it. And, then, there's supposed to be a community club thing, which you're supposed to compare your stats with, other guilds, do little community events and all that. No. Get away.
What are you doing?
Okay, now, the crowd, while it interacts with some of the things you do, like if you pull out weapons or throw out smoke bombs and whatnot, they'll spread out, but they're basically just interactive environmental elements, they're basically free cover. They don't riot, they don't really have any riots or anything like that. They don't really have any events.
I could shoot a guy in the face right now and nobody's gonna do anything about it. They're just gonna run away. I just shot a guy in the face. Do something. Oh wait, no, that's the logical thing to do.
Pull out my sword. Everybody's like, oh shit. Get out of my way. Okay, nobody cares anymore. Apparently I'm just a normal French guy. Okay.
The normal French thing to do. They're already rioting as it is.
Well, they're more like an angry mob. I wouldn't say they're rioting. This is what I consider a riot. This is just an angry mob. Okay.
Now they're rioting. Look at them run towards you, Dan.
Get away! Okay, now they improved the parkour. We can actually parkour down stuff now, which I think is kind of nice. That's a bonus. Good.
Makes it easier. There's no longer the issue of, oh crap, I'm dying.
There's hay everywhere. Free hay for everybody.
Hey.
Okay, now some things I think this game could definitely use is random events. That's a little bit more engaging. Like basically open world randomly generated missions. you know, where they would just happen, you know, like
Mhm,
political dictators, you know, somebody rallying protest, or you know, some other thing going on. I'm sure they can figure out how to do that.
Right.
The game has such a big, diverse world, and so many people in it now. It's the closest thing to a living, breathing world I've ever seen in a game to date. But there's just not a whole lot going on. It's a bunch of people moving, not a lot of people doing, you know? And it's like, you know, it's like a current human status where we're just all kind of moving around. We're just not really doing anything productive.
Why don't we do it on the road?
Yeah. Fuck it, we'll do it live. So, the thing is once you get past the collectible aspect, once you get past the very short campaign story, which can be played in about roughly 3 hours if you rush through it, and maybe even quicker, once you get past, you know, the little side missions, little, you know, extra little content thingies that don't really give any story to the game, you come to realize the game is really bare bones. Okay?
It's shallow.
Yeah. And, you know, and I know that sounds really kind of contradictory and, you know, maybe even ironic to a sense when I say it like that, because, you know, it sounds like a lot, but it really is not. It's basically padding. Okay? And it's good padding, but it's still freaking padding. You know, I mean, unless you're OCD about I gotta collect everything, you're gonna beat the game one time, and you're gonna go maybe do a couple missions, say, you know what, these are either hard, they're boring, or I don't want to do this anymore, and you're gonna basically hang up the game, go find something else to do. That's essentially what's gonna happen.
The biggest boss fight in this game was the crashes for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that I lost my saves like 3 different times. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore, man. I just...
Yeah.
I'm so glad I beat this game. I'm probably going to uninstall it by maybe next week or so.
Yeah, this is officially my last Assassin's Creed game. I got this because I was really planning on playing with the homeboys, but due to the immense requirements to even so much as even read at the game...
2 of our buddies cannot play this game at all.
Yeah.
And they've got like something like a 660
and
a 750M.
750M. Okay? And they can barely play the game at all without stuttering, having massive gameplay issues. And you know, these crowds, despite how big they don't affect frame rate at all. Not at all. Not one bit.
Not really. I would make a guess the crowds are probably CPU based.
And you know, I'm really surprised about that. Usually polygons like that, you know, usually cause issues. I'm really kind of confused at how they did the optimization for this game. And it's groundbreaking and confusing at the same exact time of how they're doing this. And it's not groundbreaking in a good way. It's groundbreaking in a why did they do it this way fashion.
My friend.
And is it really better than what the alternative could have been? I don't know. Because even though I went to game design and I understand a lot of, you know, designing and what's supposed to, you know, bring down a computer, whatever they did works, and yet it also doesn't work at the same time. Okay, now, you have something to say?
Sorry. No, I'm kind of coughing right now for some reason.
Okay.
But if I do have something to say, I don't know.
Okay. Now, I personally give this game a, you know, as a 7. I want to say 6.5, but I'm going to be a little bit gracious because I'm a fan of the Assassin's Creed series, and the only real thing that won me over in this game is being the ability to play with my co-host Akasin. And now, if I wasn't able to play with my buddy Akasin in this game, I would instantly drop this thing.
Who are the revolutionaries?
And, you know, call me harsh, but it's the same repetitive formula all over again. It's a much more detailed world. It's got a lot of pop-in issues. It's got performance issues, which, you know, I'm cutting some slack on the performance issues. And, you know, I want to dock it even more for that.
Oh, no,
but I'm not going to. Its storyline is probably the shortest and most uninvolved story of all. As a matter of fact, it's like a reboot to the story where it contributes nothing to the previous Assassin's Creed. You might as well consider it its own story, alternate universe, you know, reality that never happened, kind of like a branch off, you know, side plot. And just pretty much forget it ever happened. If you're new to
What's strange to think about is that this game, in terms of the historicals, takes place like some years after what happened in the American Revolution.
Yeah.
And it's just so, I have a glowing sword and that's it. What did it contribute? What did the Templar deal really contribute? Really nothing.
Well, okay, the things I was looking forward to is I was looking for some more involvement with, you know, the team, from, you know, Desmond's original team. You know, what was that research, okay? They got all this research from Assassin's Creed 4 that they had, you know, employee number 36, you know, collect, you know, while doing all the, you know...
I guess, honestly, on one hand, it just became useless once they killed off Desmond, and once they sort of saved the world. Now the game's back to status quo of the Templars trying to seize control of humanity and the whatnot.
I know, but I would at least like to know. I would like at least an iota or a hint of, oh, hey, this is what's going on with the team. There, you know, beginning to end, every single thing. There's never even so much as a breath of information tying to the original crew, and that irritates the ever-living piss out of me. Because we had a continuity thing going on for a bit. It dropped off at number 3. Assassin's Creed 4 had extremely loose ties to it, but it was still there to some extent. The Assassin's, you know, the Templar plot of Mwahaha gonna take over the world using some, you know, artifact of Eden, you know, was the thing, even though it was a MacGuffin, you know, in Assassin's Creed 4. It's like, oh, hey, neat, I got this thing that could make me potentially rich, but, well, I guess that could really, you know, screw up some people's days, so I'm gonna just chuck it in the ocean afterwards, even though I just worked like 3/4 of the game to get the damn thing. Okay, that's the very definition of a damn MacGuffin, okay? And Assassin's Creed Unity, there is no real, you know, artifact of Eden, except from the sword, which isn't really talked about, severely downplayed. And, you know, the plot is basically... What
were they even going... What was Job's... I forget the guy's name.
That's thinking how forgettable it is. What was the main, you know, antagonist, you know, real objective in the whole grand scheme of things, you know?
I think it was Jacob, actually. I think it was Jacobins. Maybe. Like, what were they gonna do with the stupid sword anyway? Like, shoot the president with it? Machine sword. Yeah, they were trying to prototype the machine sword. They were trying to steal my idea. 400 years in the making.
Yeah, right?
Or 200, gosh.
Okay.
Oh, man. But yeah, I just... This game, I can't even... You say a 7? What was it? You give it a 7?
I give it a 7 as a gracious estimate. I would like to give it a 5 if it wasn't.
I give it a 4.75, if not even lower, 4.5, or even just a flat out 4, because it's bringing nothing new to the table. It's the same Assassin's Creed games. It's got all these little issues to it. Its gameplay is steps in one direction, steps way back. The gameplay is infuriating, and I've played my fair share of Assassin's Creed games. So it's like, man, there's things stripped out, there's things changed in ways that realistically they just shouldn't have been, and it just makes for an infuriating experience that once I'm done, my travel through Stygian is complete.
Yeah, once you play this game, you're pretty much done, unless you're going to play with your buddies. And the one buddy I do have that's capable of playing the game, my co-host here, he really just wants to wash his hands of it. Therefore, to me, it's wasted money. So, what would I rate this game as far as price? If you absolutely must have it, wait for a Steam sale to come around, buy it for $35 or less. I would recommend hitting up in the bargain bin. You know.
I'd recommend the super bargain bin.
Cool. I'm now stuck.
I'm stuck too. What happened?
We found a hay bale we're stuck in now. Amazing.
Wait, I've got an idea. Teleport.
Yep, that's the way you fix that. But what a crock of shit for that. Okay, there you go. There's a glitch right there. Okay. Now, what can be done to improve the Assassin's Creed game, in your opinion, Akasin, as a person who's pretty much given up on the franchise?
I don't know, like, if they're trying to literally just break these games down from their engine and just say, screw it, screw the norm at this point. I get that at that point that's absolutely alienating, but if they really have to, things like the swordplay really needs to change up from this whole I press a button and my character just swings. It needs to be there just has to be something weird, something archaic, like you press a button and suddenly Link swings a sword and whatnot. None of this, you know, high-tech animations of my character performing parkour and extraordinarily interesting sword techniques. Something much more rudimentary and simpler or something like that, you know?
I like the elaborate moves. It makes me feel like I have more to do in combat.
And yet, at the same time, I feel like I'm just pressing the buttons for an actor to just perform his act. Then there's the stealth. Again, build from the ground up for the stealth. Because if you build from the ground up for good stealth, there then and thusly the stealth can just be ruined anyways for a guy who wants to go hack and slash mode. This game is so heavily rooted in its origins of, we understand that, you know, the combat is very one-sided in your favor, and they really gotta just take a step back and ask themselves, you know, what are they changing and how are they doing it? They need to first assess the gameplay and then the game design. How they're gonna design the game for the new and improved or disimproved, or what's the opposite of improved? Unimproved gameplay. I realistically could not tell you though. Maybe just let the series die and work on something else. I mean,
there's certain things that they could do, and I feel that they're just using the same rehash formula over and over again. And, you know, little things here and there is nice, but I want to see them contribute more to it, give us new kinds of gameplay. We have such a big world, diversity, you know, with all the shit that we can do, such massive resources.
But you know, the thing is that at some point it just kind of gets cringeworthy because a lot of it will basically take place in Europe, and much of the stories that I don't even know. It's like I feel like it gets into weird fan pandering, and who knows when we're dealing with this very touchy subject already right now.
Well, let's just dissect it to what it is. It's a wannabe Grand Theft Auto in an older time without the automobiles.
Nah, not even that.
And not even that. Well, that's what I'm saying though. But even Grand Theft Auto does the same damn thing over and over again. Okay. However, they add something each time they do it. But
here's the thing though. Grand Theft Auto is still fun. Nobody can spoil Grand Theft Auto's story or plot. People literally just play that game just to blow up cars, get chased by the police and whatnot. You don't play this game to get chased by guards and blow up people, because you can't blow up people, but you can sure as heck be chased by guards. But it's very easy for you to kill all the guards. Where in Grand Theft Auto, it's very easy for all the guards to kill you. Or police. But my thing is that, see, in this game, just real quick, there's a historical little anomaly that nobody would really agree with if there's like a really hardcore historian buff, and this is their opinion on it. Most people agree with this. Marie Antoinette is depicted as like a scared little girl kind of protagonist that you kind of protect, and Robespierre, who is touted by many to be like a really key figure in this revolution, like a protagonist of this revolution, is an antagonist to the revolution in this game. That's not right.
Well, that's called counterintuitive, you know, storyline telling. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You know, if you know anything about writing, it's acceptable. Now, because it's basically a fantasy, and they have, you know, some degree of liberty of what they're able to do. I mean, look at what they did with Blackbeard. Blackbeard, everybody, you know, has got, you know, associated with the Yar pirate, you know, the stereotype, you know, gritty guy. And in Assassin's Creed 4, he was actually a pretty cool guy, and you know.
I mean, to be honest, that might have been historically accurate on one end, and the other thing is that the pirate accent mainly comes from like one particular actor having that accent in the first place.
Well, you get what I'm saying, though. You know, we went from the stereotype pirate to actually being a genuinely pretty awesome guy, even though he's renowned as,
I mean,
the scourge
sure,
of the
but that's a
seas.
pirate. That's a pirate, a guy who most people would just proclaim to be a bad guy, and honestly, most of our history on him probably is very loose anyway. Robespierre was but Robespierre is a dude who we had lots of information on. Heck, we probably have his journal. We know a lot about the Marquis de Sade and his fantasies.
His fantasies.
The sadist. He wasn't even a sadist. We just took that from his name. But digressing. We gotta wrap this up, man.
Yeah,
you know.
we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. And basically, all things considered, it's the same tired formula. Pick it up on Steam, you know, on discount. Atkinson says give it a pass. But, you know, everybody who's, you know, a serious fan base, you know, loyalist, I'd say at least give it a look, but only if you got a couple friends to play it with, because you're
I mean,
really gonna
if this
lose
were
out.
like, if this were some indie title, okay, screw that one. If Ubisoft just released this game and said we have a new game, it's called Assassin's Creed Unity, I would just say buy this game for like 10 or $5 if you really wanted to buy this game. Because it's really not worth 30, $35. At least not in my opinion. It's not worth the hassle or the headache. And just coming in as a fan, it's just not worth the hassle or the headache, you know?
I mean, I'm usually not this hard on a game, but, you know, when you got a company as massive as Ubisoft, with as many resources as Ubisoft, with as much research and development, and all the technology that Ubisoft has on its ends, you really kind of, you know, have to, you know, want more from them, because they don't have any excuse. Their budget is basically nigh infinite when it comes to their own, you know, proprietary, you know, IPs. So there's literally no bullshit excuse they can use to get away with the fact of lazy development. And so at that point, it becomes a cash grab, and it's a DLC money chase, you know, in that sense too. You know, but the DLC is not that big of an issue this time. The microtransaction store's there, not as a necessity. It'll piss people off. The only reason I find it a piss off thing is because I find if you want to be able to, you know, buy your way, you know, through time, you know, what is the point of playing a game?
Why
if
did
you're
you
not
buy
gonna-
this game?
Yeah. if you're
Why
not
did you
gonna
buy this
play
game?
it.
Go watch a Let's Play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea, man. You know, that's the whole point of the microtransaction store is, oh, hey, well, you know, you don't have time to beat the game, or you're getting your butt kicked because you're such an ultra casual, then, you know, please just spend your money here and save yourself some time, because it's much easier for you just buy your way, you know, to best gear. Okay, and that I just can't condone. I mean, I understand it to a degree, and I've done it myself in the past, and, you know, so I've been there and I've tested it out, and I just don't care for it. So, with all that said, Assassin's Creed Unity could have been more, it could have been better, and
But it didn't.
That's not
I
yours.
hate closing on that note, but it's what it is. Assassin's Creed Unity, but, you know, that's it. That's really all I'm gonna say. You know, you interpret that as you will. Ubisoft, decent game, same thing over and over again. Add more to it, please. Give me more content. Give me more kind of events. Give me more variety. Give me a storyline that isn't the same, you know, cookie cutter, you know, coup or political conspiracy, you know, that has a little bit more depth to it than your standard, you know, high school writer, you know, plot, you know.
Right.
Okay, I mean, you're better than that. You've already shown that you can do an advanced, complicated plot, you know, with good character development, good storyline, and still have branching elements and branching stories that somehow manage to conveniently tie back into the main arc. Yet you have
Here's an
clearly
idea.
done anything but that.
Get every, like, there's two writers for the two games, but you either get the writer for Far Cry 3 or the writer for Far Cry 4, and you just make an absolute Assassin's Creed spin-off like crazy. Like, it has nothing to do with any Assassin's Creed. It's just Assassin's Creed by name, universe. It has Templars and Assassins, but there was never any Desmond or anything. It is written by those guys, and it has, like, a really interesting villain who is always good on screen, and then he dies.
With all that said, final review score, Incognis, 7.0, Atkinson,
I'd say
4.75.
4.75.
And that's our final verdict. And once again, this is Rantech Radio, and my name is Incognis.
I'm Axon. I'm shooting people in the crowd.
And you all have a wonderful night and enjoy our full comprehensive review.